Protesters rallied at demonstrations nationwide Wednesday to protest the Army Corps of Engineers' announcement it'll be green-lighting the construction of the contested $3.8 billion Dakota Access Pipeline. The company behind the pipeline, Energy Transfer Partners, says it'll start work immediately upon being granted the final permit. Hundreds of people gathered outside the White House in Washington, D.C. to protest the project, which many fear could contaminate the Missouri River, which serves as a drinking source for over 10 million people. Crowds also gathered in Los Angeles, Manhattan, Denver, and San Francisco, where about a dozen people were arrested blockading the doors of the federal building. More protesters rallied in Ithaca, New York, Columbus, Ohio, and in Chicago, where 4 people were arrested after locking themselves to each other to shut down a Citibank to protest its investments in the Dakota Access Pipeline. Many of the protesters were furious not only about the government's approval of the pipeline, but also about Trump's recent claims that no one had called the White House to express opposition to the project.
As you know, I approved 2 pipelines that were stuck in limbo forever. I don't even think it was controversial. You know, I approved them. I haven't even had one call from anybody saying, oh, that was a terrible thing you did. I haven't had one call.
As multiple news outlets have reported, the White House shut down its public comments phone line following Trump's inauguration. However, hundreds of thousands of people have written statements denouncing the project since the Army Corps of Engineers opened up the public comment period in late January. On Wednesday, a group of veterans and indigenous water protectors delivered electronic versions of more than 200,000 of these comments to the Army Corps office in Manhattan. In Phoenix, Arizona, at least 6 protesters were arrested last night, blockading an Immigrations and Customs Enforcement van in efforts to stop the deportation of 35-year-old Guadalupe Garcia de Reyes, a woman and mother who has been living in the United States for the last 21 years. Reyes was arrested and detained Wednesday by immigration agents during one of her routine required check-ins with immigration officials. Advocates say her arrest signals a clear shift toward the ramping up of deportations under the Trump administration, even of people like Reyes, who've been deemed a low priority for deportation under President Obama. Reyes' lawyer said, quote, "We're living in a new era now, an era of war on immigrants," unquote. In protest, hundreds of people surrounded the ICE van carrying Reyes. One man locked himself to the wheels of the van while others blockaded it with their bodies. Thousands of people rallied nationwide Saturday in support of Planned Parenthood in efforts to counter the planned anti-Planned Parenthood rallies. Opponents of Planned Parenthood said they organized more than 100 rallies in more than 40 states for Saturday. But in multiple cities, when the anti-Planned Parenthood protesters showed up, they were met by even larger crowds of people who support the Women's Health Organization. In Denver, for example, as many as 6,000 pro-Planned Parenthood people rallied, compared to only about 250 to 400 people who rallied to demand the defunding of Planned Parenthood.